Hello everybody, I'm forecaster Megan Sweeney here with your forecast update for southern Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama for August 17, 2023. As just a little reminder for everyone, we do have an app. It is available on iOS and Android. Feel free to download it today to keep track of your local forecast as well as keeping up to date on our forecast anytime, anywhere. Let's jump into it. So we are seeing this heat pattern continuing throughout the area with some risk conditions for the next couple of days. So that means there is really hot temperatures as well as a little bit of moisture in the air, meaning you're at significant risk of heat stroke as well as other heat stress related conditions such as dehydration, dizziness, etc. So just be cautious when you're working outside, especially over this weekend, because our temperatures will be in the upper 90s and hundreds. So let's take a look at what we're looking at. So our temperatures for this week, again, the highs are going to definitely be in the upper 90s and hundreds, but unfortunately we aren't going to get much cooling relief in the evenings, with lows only getting into the 70s in much of the area. So this means a lot of that heat will be trapped into our atmosphere and remaining and making it very hot. And we are seeing this above normal average temperatures for this time of year, as it's usually hot in the summer, but this is pretty much above normal. And this pattern is going to continue for at least the next 2 weeks, as we see that red down there. That means our temperatures are going to be above normal for this time of year, which is pretty hot because considering that during the end of August, temperatures are at quite its peak hotness for this time for the year. So being above the normal average is definitely something of concern if you are not looking forward to much heat. It is very dangerous being in quite heat conditions, and there's also some fire warnings for this week due to the extreme heat and also the dryness, which we will see that pattern continue. This week we are going to be pretty dry with only the occasional scattered shower, but that's also going to remain for the following week. As we can see, we're going to be slightly drier than normal, which doesn't rule out any moisture, but it does mean you're less likely to see significant showers and rain systems. However, if you are looking at the Gulf there, you do see above average moisture and precipitation for the Gulf of Mexico for the week of the 23rd, which could possibly mean some tropical storm action brewing in the Gulf of Mexico late in August, which is common for this time of year. So that might be something to watch out for as we head later into the month. But speaking of the tropics, we are looking at 2 tropical disturbances out in the Atlantic, as well as 3 tropical storms in the Pacific. So let's just talk about the Atlantic really quickly. Those 2 disturbances have about a 50% chance of development within the next 7 days. Most likely, they are not likely to form into anything huge, especially within the next week or so, but there is a possibility for them to develop further as we see the moisture and the heat kick into the Atlantic a little bit more. They could develop into something in the following week, as we saw in our extended outlook that there is a higher chance of moisture in the Gulf, which could mean some further developments in the end of the month. Talking about our tropical storms, however, Tropical Storm Greg is our one that is most out into the central Pacific. It is about a couple hundred miles south of Hawaii currently, sustaining some lower winds. They are just barely on tropical storm status, but Greg is most likely to weaken into tropical depression status by Sunday and disband over the weekend. So that will probably most likely not be of any disruptance to any mainland. However, following behind it is Tropical Storm Francesca,